Have you ever noticed that no matter how much you earn, it never quite feels like enough? Or that the moment things start going well financially, something always seems to happen to bring it back down? A bonus comes in, and suddenly the car needs repairs. You finally save a little, and suddenly you deserve a treat that wipes it out. You get offered something bigger, and some quiet voice says, "Not yet, not ready, not for me." If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something right away. It's not because you are bad with money, and it's not because you lack discipline or willpower. There is something quieter running underneath all of it. And today we are going to gently look at it together. Not to judge it, but to understand it. Because once you can see it, you can't unsee it. And once you can see it, you can start to change it. So let's gently name what this can look like. And I want you to notice, without judgment, if any of these feel familiar. It can look like undercharging for your work, even when deep down you know you're worth more. It can look like avoiding your bank balance, because looking at it stirs up a feeling you can't quite name. It can look like saving for a while and then spending it all in one go, almost like money was never meant to stay. It can look like feeling guilty spending on yourself, but completely fine spending on everyone else. It can look like putting off financial planning, not because you're lazy, but because something about it feels heavy or even unsafe. And sometimes it's quieter than that. It's a soft belief sitting in the background that wanting more is somehow too much, not spiritual, not humble, not you. If any of this landed, I want you to take a breath. None of this makes you broken. It just makes you human. You've inherited a story about money, and that story has been running quietly in the background, making decisions before you can even get a say. Carl Jung said something that applies perfectly here. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Most of our core beliefs about money were formed before we were even old enough to question them. Not through lessons, but through atmosphere. The tone in the room when bills arrived, the little phrases repeated so often they become truth. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. These phrases don't stay phrases. Over time, they become identity. They become the invisible ceiling you live under, never chosen, never questioned, but shaping almost every financial decision you make as an adult. There's a term for this: financial trauma, and it's broader than most people realize. It doesn't only come from growing up without money, it can come from growing up around money anxiety, even in households that had enough. Tension, secrecy, or stress around money leaves an imprint, and that imprint often shows up later in life disguised as being responsible or not caring about money, when really it's just an old fear wearing a more acceptable outfit. This is where it gets really interesting because the subconscious mind doesn't think in numbers, it thinks in safety. Here's the part that might surprise you. For many of us, staying exactly where we are financially actually feels safe. Not consciously. Consciously, you want more. But subconsciously, more means more visibility, more pressure, more distance from people you love who don't have as much. There's a concept called upper limit from psychologist Gay Hendricks. The idea that we each carry an internal thermostat for how much good we let ourselves have. And when life starts to go above that setting, we unconsciously find a way to bring it back down. We create a small crisis. We spend the extra money. We pull back right before the breakthrough. Not because we want to fail, but because somewhere in our wiring, this much good still feels unfamiliar. And the subconscious mind, more than anything else, craves the familiar. So here's the gentle truth: the real work isn't only about money mindset, and it's not only about budgeting and planning either. Both matter, and honestly, both work best together. A solid budget gives your nervous system something steady to hold on to. But if the thermostat underneath hasn't shifted, even the best financial plan in the world will quietly get sabotaged. So, we are not here to throw out the practical stuff, we are here to add the missing piece underneath it. So, how do you actually begin shifting this? Here's where I want to gently invite you to try something, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. Step 1: Notice the belief without fixing it yet. Grab a journal, write, money is, and let yourself finish the sentence without thinking. Then, people with money are. Then, I don't have money because. Whatever comes up, that's not truth, that's programming. And you can't change something you haven't noticed first. Step 2. Get curious about where it came from. Ask, whose voice does it sound like? Is it something really mine or something I absorbed a long time ago from someone else's fear? This isn't about blame, it's about realizing that you get to choose what you carry forward and what you gently set down. Step 3. Let small actions build a new identity. This is the part that might stretch you slightly, and that's okay. Look at your bank balance, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Charge what you're worth, even if your voice shakes a little saying the number. Receive a compliment or a gift without deflecting it. These are not huge leaps, they're small, steady votes for a new story. Step 4. Give yourself permission to want more. If you were taught that wanting money is shallow or that good people don't focus on wealth, I want to gently offer you another way of seeing it. More money isn't the opposite of your values. It often what lets you live them more fully, more capacity to care for yourself, for the people you love, and to create the kind of life that feels spacious instead of tight. You're allowed to want money. It's not greed, it's self respect. Your money story isn't your destiny, it's just a story, and stories can be rewritten gently, one small moment at a time. The fact that you're here watching this, willing to take a deeper look, that already puts you somewhere most people never go. Most people only ever manage the surface. You're starting to understand what's underneath, and that changes everything. If this felt like it was speaking to you, send it to a woman in your life who might need it too. And save it for a day when the old story gets a little loud again. Subscribe. We go deep here, gently, and we're just getting started. You're allowed to feel calm around money. You're allowed to feel at peace with your money. You're allowed to have more, and you're allowed to feel in complete control of your money. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.